The city of churches is buzzing. Adelaide is buzzing. I'm with Jared Waitley. The pink ball test is the most special of the summer. I can't wait for it to get underway on Friday. And this one has added significance. Australia cannot afford to go 2-0 down. They simply can't afford to lose. Remember, India holds the Border-Gavaskar trophy. Australia must win this series to regain it. They haven't beaten India for 10 years. What should Australia's team be? 1300 736 736 or 0433 98 11 16 to send us a text on the 40 Winks Temper text. The new ball for Henley Homes, big sale, save it to $40,000, must end Sunday, the 8th of December. I'm just interested before we get into the 6 deliveries, the 6 biggest talking points with Brad, who's just walking in now. What should Australia's team be? Do you play Bo Webster? What if Mitch Marsh can't bowl, he's on limited training or bowling loads? Josh Inglis, is he a chance? Sean Abbott, would you be tempted to play Sean Abbott above Scott Boland, given Abbott is probably better with the bat and in the field, but hasn't played Test cricket before, and Scott Boland has proven himself at the level? Or even Brendan Doggett is in fantastic form. That's the squad. What should Australia's team be? 1300 736 736. Bharat Sundaresan has just walked in the studio as he sorts himself out. I think Australia's team is fascinating. I also think India's team is fascinating. What does India do? Where does Rohit Sharma bat? How does Shubman Gill fit back in? And maybe they make a change to the spin department as well. Some text messages coming through. Tom, surely Boxing Day is the most special test. I think Boxing Day is the most iconic test. But actually being in Adelaide for a pink ball test, I think is the best atmosphere. I think Adelaide Oval is the best cricket ground, pure cricket ground in the country. Loose bus change and Smith should be out, says one texter. Give us your thoughts. 0433 98 11 16 to send us a text on the 40 Winks Temper text. Bowling down breeze this morning is Bharat Sundaresan. Welcome, Baz.
I was running down breeze there for a second. It becomes tricky when it's a home test match. You wake up and you realize there's a bit of housework to finish, Tom Morris, before you start heading to work, if we can call this work.
Yeah.
No, good morning, Tom. Good morning to all our wonderful listeners all around the world, all around Australia. And did I just catch you say this is the test match you need to be at?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be more right about anything else in life. The Boxing Day test is tradition. The Adelaide test is where you want to be. It's become the festival test, hasn't it?
And people can responsibly drink as much as they want in the evening and then not miss a ball the next day because, of course, it starts in the afternoon. And the evening session is something to behold, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here for it. Can we take one call before we get into
Surely can.
the 6 deliveries? What should Australia's test team be for Adelaide? Chris is in Essendon, and welcome, Chris.
Yeah, I've got a question. I think you drop Mitch Marsh if he's not injured, if he's injured, and bring Glenn Maxwell for one match and say to him, you've got free reign to terrorise the bowlers. Good luck.
Well, why not? I mean, Glenn Maxwell for Test cricket, that's a campaign that's been run by a few friends of ours, Tommy Morris, but I don't think we've reached that point yet, though, and I don't know what Maxi's fitness is.
Hamstring's not good, I think.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, it's one of those unfortunate things that every time he looks like he's going to be ready to play a Shield game, something happens, and this time it's the hamstring. I still think Australia have the batting strength to come back into this series, and because Australia the selectors have said so often that they want to pick the 6 best batters, and even if Mitch Marsh doesn't or isn't able to bowl, I don't think they'll worry too much about it.
Some great text messages coming through here. Just gives an idea of the divergence of opinions. The team should be Khawaja, Mitch Marsh to open, McSweeney at 3, Smith at 4, Head at 5, Marnus at 6, Carey at 7, Webster at 8, Cummins,
Wow.
Stark. And so, I mean, there's so many different opportunities for these Australian players. But, Brad, the first delivery we have today, and let's bowl the first over of the new ball and get to the good oil for Cobram Estate Australian extra virgin olive oil. What do you think this team will be for Australia?
You'd expect Scott Boland to just come in, right? I mean,
Yeah.
He's been the first cab off the rack every time there's been an injury or Pat Cummins has been in the wrong part of the restaurant during COVID.
Yeah.
Whatever reason for which Australia, for some reason, just don't or rarely get to field all three of their Hall of Fame fast bowlers in Adelaide. Like Pat Cummins missed back-to-back tests. I wasn't complaining about the fact that it allowed Michael Neser to play a couple of test matches. And
We love Michael Neser.
we love Michael Neser. Hashtag Neser must play. The campaign continues. But Sean Abbott's an interesting one. The way he's been bowling over the last couple of years with the red ball, with the pink ball as well when he gets the chance. He's as good as Scott Boland in my opinion.
Would you be tempted then? Because he would bat at 8 and he's very good in the field.
Yeah, I don't think the batting will come into consideration. I think they'll look at it more as who between the two can give them that edge with the pink ball. And I guess Scott Boland, having played with the pink ball before at this level, should get the edge. Has he played a pink ball test to Scott Boland? I don't think so.
I'll have to look that one up.
No, because the time that Pat Cummins was out due to COVID for the Ashes test, it was Michael Neser and Jai Richardson who played. So, but regardless, yeah, I'd be surprised if it isn't Boland. But if it is Abbott, I think it's not that the bowling attack loses anything.
Yeah, right. The second delivery, your man, Baz.
Yeah.
Marnus. You have hitched your wagon to Marnus Labuschagne, and I commend you for this courage, bravery. Bolder, some would call it brash. But as a journalist, it's important to put your flag in the ground, and you've done this. And the headline on Crick Buzz is, Marnus wants runs, and Adelaide is where he could score big. And the first line, Marnus Labuschagne is set to make a big score in Adelaide later this week. It's not so much a punt as it is a calculated prediction based not solely, but largely on how he's looking in the nets at the Adelaide over the last 2 days. You are convinced this is when he'll return to form?
Return to form and return with a big score. Like you just read out there, it is not a punt. It is genuinely a calculated prediction. And I've done this before for Marnus, and I've done it for others as well. I like to stick my neck out.
Good.
But it's based on what I've seen his mindset being in the last couple of days. And if you read further down in that copy, I talk about this next session he had with Michael Hussey before the Perth test. And the talk between the two was more about why Michael Hussey he was just curious. I mean, he didn't want to make strong statements. He was just a temporary, help, as a lot of these former cricketers tend to be when we travel for the test summer. And it was about like, why have you stopped thinking about run scoring when you're defending balls, especially balls you could just push into the covers for a couple of runs? And just the way he's been batting over here at the Adelaide Oval the last 3 days tells me that the mindset is right. And I have also said, look, it's just when you're up against Jasprit Bumrah, he could just nick you off.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter. He can
We
beat
accept
anyone.
that. We accept that.
But I don't think he will go down the way he did in Perth, where he was cynical and pessimistic with his footwork and everything else about his batting. So, yeah, I'm very confident. Not just confident, I've put it out there. Yeah. I think Marnus's big score is just on the corner.
The fact that it's a pink ball match, does that favour Marnus? He's got a great record in day-night test matches, albeit from a small sample size.
Yeah, and also the fact that he's got a really good record at the Adelaide Oval. And I can see some of our texters are not happy with me having hitched my wagon to Marnus. Labuschagne is completely gone, says one of them. Well, if he doesn't score here, though, I might have to agree with our texter here. Whether it's self-indulgence or not, batting's a selfish art form. You need to be selfish to succeed in cricket, but especially as a batter. But again, if he's thinking about run scoring, and I don't mean just throwing his bat at everything, just what he's happy with, what he is focused on. And the fact that he wasn't really concerned about turning around and asking me where his back foot was or where his back toe was a great sign.
Yeah, that's really interesting stuff. We'll see how Marnus goes this test match. It's certainly a narrative we're following. And you're right, if things go poorly, then it's probably only going one way. And I think he would accept that. I think he's a realist in this situation as well.
Yeah, this is the first time in 5 years, it's not just scrutiny over his form. That's happened before. But this is scrutiny over his place in the side. And Lee, I am a journalist, but I'm also a supporter of people who work hard. And, we should. I don't get this, though, Tom. I have to say, I understand it's elite sport, and when someone's not doing well, you want them gone. But this whole feeling among sports fans in Australia right now, where I'm not saying they're wishing ill on their cricketers, but they almost want people not to succeed. It's really interesting. It's a learning curve for me.
It's an emotive business, and sports fans, especially in Australia, they react passionately when their stars aren't performing. And the easy call, we've argued it from time to time. I personally would have left him out on form, but I'm not throwing my hands in the air saying it's a disgraceful decision. But if things don't go well, then I think not just Marnus is culpable, I also think the selectors are culpable as well because they have hitched their wagon
exactly.
to
Of course
Marnus,
they have.
which is part of what it is. Now, India's team. I was intrigued to talk to a couple of very senior Indian cricket people last night at your lovely barbecue, not a barbecue, your lovely dinner that you had at your place in the Adelaide Hills, who believe Rohit Sharma will bat number 5. Do you agree with that? And if so, is that a surprise? He hasn't batted number 5 in Test cricket since Boxing Day 2018.
Yeah, and he's had such success as an opener. Not maybe so much in the last few Test matches he's played this home summer, home winter, whatever you want to call it, that India had before they came here. But he scored hundreds against England earlier this year, and ever since he's gone up the order, he's tasted a lot of success. The only reason I can see why Rohit might think the number 5 might suit him, or number 5 or number 6 is because of how well KL Rahul is batting. 3-4 weeks ago, KL Rahul was brought here as a middle order batter. But the way he opened at the MCG didn't get too many runs for India A. But he said so yesterday in the press conference that he'd been told that he's going to open the batting a few weeks out. And he set the game up for India. And Rohit, in these 5 Test matches in India, I thought he was trying to set the tempo for India. It wasn't quite baseball, but he was trying to play a lot of shots.
That's how he plays.
And more so of late in Test cricket. So if you have KL Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal to see off the new ball, set the innings up like they did in the second innings in Perth, then suddenly that batting lineup looks very dangerous if Rohit Sharma is walking out at 5 and 6.
So he averages, what does he average? 29 at number 5 across, 16 Test innings. He's made 350s and 100 in that position. So he doesn't have huge experience, but it would be bizarre to see him open the batting in Adelaide, Rohit Sharma, if he batted number 5 in the PM's 11 game. Like, you would imagine that wherever he bats in the PM's 11 game will be where he bats in Adelaide. I like it. Like a punchy number 5, an experienced player in that position, that's dangerous for the Australians. Like, that's their version, India's version, of Travis Head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the battle against Nathan Lyon as well, becomes even more intriguing. So that's been an underrated rivalry, Lyon versus Marnus. So I've really angered a lot of people in Australia, haven't I, Tom Morris? This is just the wrestling heel character.
Hey, the text machine is fantastic. We love all your feedback, whether it's good or bad. We love the engagement. 1300 736 736 is the call number. 0433 98 1116 is the 40 Winks temper text. The conditions and the pink ball subtleties. Before we get your thoughts, this is what your man KL Rahul had to say in his media conference in the last 24 hours.
These few days have only been about understanding how the ball reacts and how easy or hard it is to play against the pink ball.
So it's a difficult skill playing against the pink ball. Do you expect this to favour India or Australia?
I wouldn't say it's the lottery, but having said that, I do think it's all about timing. When the batting team faces the new ball, if it's in that twilight period, are they starting their innings there? Because just rewind for 4 years. I mean, people talk about 36 all out in the second innings, or the way India were just blown away. But they were in such a strong position because they put themselves in a good position on day one before the Virat Kohli run out. But despite that, they managed to put 250 on the board. And at one point, they had Australia down to 711 when Tim Paine's catches dropped. And then the rest is history. And India ended up with a pretty significant first innings lead as well in that Test match. So India have not played a lot of pink ball cricket, which could be to their advantage because they haven't really sat and thought about it too much. And that's one thing I've heard from a lot of senior Indian batters. Like Virat Kohli did not play that game in Canberra, did not bat anyway. And, I think the point they make is they prefer just having a couple of nets, which they have, and they will again tonight, and just getting into the game and almost reacting to the ball rather than over-analyzing it and overthinking it.